Hey drummers, it's Rob Litton here from drumstheword.com. Welcome to this free mini song lesson where today I'm going to show you how to play the main drum beats for the verse and the chorus from the song RX Queen by Deftones, drummed of course by Abe Cunningham. I've got the PDF that you can download from my website for free. It shows you not only the main drum beat for the verse, but also a simplified version, which we'll talk about in this lesson as well, where we can sort of just focus on the bass drum, snare drum part and not worry too much about the hi-hat part. But we'll get to that in a minute. And then of course the chorus as well, which is basically the verse drum beat but with some different stuff over the top of it. So don't forget to go to my website, have this printed out in front of you. You'll find a link to this page beneath this video, and it'll make things much easier for you to understand as we go through this together. This was suggested over on my Facebook page, and so if you want to make your own song suggestions, then please go over there to do so. Again, you'll find a link to my Facebook page beneath this video. So, at 0 seconds, I've hit at the top of the chart, 143 BPM, and note, electronic effects are used for the hi-hat as well as a backing loop. So on the recording itself, I'm not quite sure how they recorded it. It sounds like it might have been sampled drums. The verse drum beat, the hi-hat parts all sound very electronic. Doesn't sound like an acoustic drum. It could have been triggered, it could have been programmed. But when you see Abe play it live, it's all played on the acoustic kit. But there is definitely some sort of special effect going on in the background, some sort of loop of some sort to add to the depth and layers of the drum beat. So be aware of that as you listen to the song and playing along to it. But this certainly works live as well on the acoustic kit, because we're just basically replicating that hi-hat part, bass drum and snare drum. So it's a 2-bar drum beat, but actually it's 4 bars, because the very last bar changes it ever so slightly. But the first bar, we get this drum beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So nothing too complicated there. But what we're going to do, and this is what Abe does for this drum beat, is he fills in all the gaps with the hi-hat. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's kind of like an offbeat hi-hat drum beat. So that's the first fill you've got to get into, settle into, is this offbeat hi-hat bar. But of course, as soon as you settled into it, we then move to the downbeat with the hi-hat. So the second bar is we're playing this on the bass drum and snare drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the bass drum and snare drum moves to the offbeat, and then the hi-hat plays the downbeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So on their own, nothing too complicated going on there. We get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, that kind of feel, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, that kind of feel. But put them together and we get a little bit of a crossover in the middle, which is kind of cool and requires a little bit of concentration. So let's put the 2 bars together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. A bit faster. That's pretty much the actual tempo. And over the top, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we go on to the second line, 2 more bars of the same groove, but the very last bar, bar 4, we get a slightly different ending. So instead of playing 3 and 4 and, as we had for the bar above, we play 3 and 4 and. He resolves the snare drum on the downbeat in this noticeable, comfortable place, beat 4. So we get kind of like this nice resolve at the end of the 4 bars where it then goes back to its weird offbeatness. So that last bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then of course it loops. So there's no crash cymbals in these verse sections. So we're not going to play a crash cymbal going into each 4 bars of the new verse. There is some crash cymbals going into the chorus, as we'll see. But let me just play those 4 bars for you a couple of times, then up to speed, so we can hear just the drums in a row without the microphone on. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And again, a little bit faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. And now, like I said, up to speed without the mic on. Here we go. So for this next example, I've got what I've called a simplified version. But actually, playing it feels a little bit trickier than the actual version of the drum beat, because you've got these offbeat bass drum and snare drum parts coming down on the ands with the hi-hat. So I've chosen to write it as eighth notes on the hi-hat to simplify what you're reading at the top of the line. Just simply eighth notes all the way through, and we're just playing the bass drum snare drum pattern where they fall with that eighth notes hi-hat pattern. So again, the first two bars are the same as the second two bars, but we'll just play the first two bars first. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and nothing wrong with that bar, but it's a second bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that you might find a little bit weird, because you're playing on the ands with the hi-hat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1. Then of course we get the fourth bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So let me just play those four bars for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. And really this is here in the lesson to help you see where the bass and snare drum lie more clearly, but also to give you an alternative to play if you're finding this offbeat hi-hat stuff too tricky. You can have a go at that. Final idea, very, very quickly, which I haven't written down on the chart, is to play quarter notes instead. In fact, that's what we'll be playing in the chorus coming up next. So let me just play those four bars for you up to speed. So then at 40 seconds we get our first chorus. And it starts with the crash cymbals. It's a 4-bar phrase. Again, the bass drum snare drum pattern hasn't changed, but Abe is playing just quarter notes on the open hi-hat. So we get for the first bar 1, 2, 3, 4 and. The second bar 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Notice we started with a crash cymbal in bar 1. Another crash cymbal on bar 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And notice how the fourth bar of the chorus there has the snare drum on beat 4. So don't forget that occurs every 4 bars. The second line is almost identical, except, and it's quite hard to hear it, but you see him play it live, so it's definitely something he decided to put on the song and to keep it in the live performance. Crash cymbals on 1 and 2 for the first bar. 1 and 2, 3, 4. I think it's a really cool musical touch. Very subtle. No one will perhaps miss it, but it just adds something every 4 bars or every 8 bars for the chorus. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then bars 3 and 4 are the same as the 2 bars above. So before I play it up to speed, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So let's hear that up to speed properly now. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. Don't forget to download the free PDF that came with this website. And you might want to consider, while you're over there, signing up to become an online member. And what I currently offer for £97 is a full year's online access to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. And that's coming up to 600 full video song lessons where, unlike this lesson, I teach you the song from start to finish, every single bar. You get the fully transcribed PDF drum chart with each of the full song lessons. And I've got a load of other Deftones lessons up on the website already, and I'm sure I'll be adding more in the future as well. As a thank you for signing up, I'll give you access to hundreds more little videos teaching you many, many famous drum beats, fills, and even drum solos. I'll give you 3 ebooks I've written over the years containing hundreds more famous beats, fills, and solos. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. And I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday. So you've got lots of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But if you've got any questions about any of that, then feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. And And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.